Anne from the Useless Crafter. Thank you so much for your support, because if you're watching this, we know you purchased this file. So my friend Allie and I, we've been friends since college, so it's been decades. She has a successful Etsy shop. And as you know, with me, I've been doing tutorials and also doing custom orders. We felt like what was missing in the marketplace is SVG files that are made specifically for parties. You know, we make big things, centerpieces, and these SVGs, they work for like cupcake toppers or cake toppers or little things like shirts. But we want to make big centerpieces that will be the central part of your party or theme, and for you to sell if that's where you want to go with it, or for your own specific party. So the first one for our launch, which we're super excited, is this bee honeycomb kind of theme. So it's going to be big. It's designed to be 33 inches wide. It can be bigger. It will be seamless up to a certain extent, of course, because we design it so that each honeycomb can be 11.5 inches by 11.5 inches. This is not 11.5 inches, it's a little bit shorter than that, because I wanted to keep it at 33 inches wide, because I only wanted to do 3 columns, right? So 11 inches plus 11 is 33, and that's the max I wanted to do. But this is gonna be sizable once we put it together. So here we go, all right? So the first thing is, when I cut off of the mat, basically from the Cricut Maker mat to here, I like to take it off the mat and I like to piece it together on these boards so I get a visual of, is anything missing? Is anything defective? You know, like, did it rip? Whatever it is, I want to make sure that I have all the pieces and kind of get a good layout of where things are. So this is the board that's going to go on top, which, can you see already? It's going to be so pretty. I love the colors. You can customize as much as you want, or you can stick to what we have here. I already customized based on top of what we give you, because I have access on Design Space, and so I just wanted to give that option. So okay, so like with all off the mat, we need to deal with the background. Now this background is different than what you normally see with off the mat, because it doesn't have an outline. It is just the background to give it support for us to lay everything on top. So like I was saying, I'll show you like this one, right? So this is a file that I bought, but it has an outline. So with the outline, what happens is when you make it big, you're gonna have seams, no matter how good you make this. And this is pretty darn seamless. Don't get me wrong, it's pretty amazing. But nonetheless, it has little seams. I mean, probably no more than an inch on this whole 30-inch piece, because on the edge, you're gonna have the seams. So we designed it so that there is no edge. This background is purely for support, and for you to easily lay things on top and tape things so that it stays on board. Sorry, my shirt is driving me crazy. All right. Okay, so with any off the mat, like I said, I like to piece it all together. And then what you can do is, I think with this one being such a funky shape, I'm going to flip over little by little and tape it together. So we're taping on the back. Although, you know what? We could, because nothing is showing, we can tape from the front. That makes it so much easier. Okay, so just regular tape. So in the regular tape, this is, I think, just Scotch tape. What you want to do is you want to grab your two, and even though this is totally in the background, nothing will show, I do like just sticking with the basics, which is, you know, you want to make it as seamless as possible. you pick up one side and you hold it down and you tape it together. Now, okay. And I am just taping two things at one time, and then I'll tape the pairs up one by one. It's just, in this case, it doesn't matter quite as much because, like I said, nothing of this black is going to be showing through. But if you follow along and you stick with me, I feel like it's just good practice, and you know, we should stick with it. I am by my previous career was a process designer, so it's always, you know, sticking to the standard operating procedures, and it's just good practice. All right. So this is, you know, it's so different than what I did before because we're not showing the background at all, and I love it. So, you know, it's designed purposely to do that. But that means, you know, you can tape from the front, which I love. Didn't have that option before. Okay, so the other thing is I use 65-pound paper anytime that it's in the background and it's not featured prominently, because it, you know, it doesn't dull your blade as quickly. It's cheaper, so that's why I use it. But what happens sometimes too is because it's thinner, I don't like using a super sticky mat, you know, and so then what happens is sometimes it doesn't cut as well. So if you can see right here, it ripped a little bit, but we don't care because it's in the background. So don't worry about it if it rips. It's really, this is to give you an outline of where things go also, so that you can piece everything together. So don't worry about it. We're getting there. And I think this is a great size for a centerpiece. I like everything around 30 inches because at 30 inches off the mat is feasible. It's not gonna get crazy. The number of sheets of paper isn't so bad either. So that's kind of like my magic number. And it's a good size for your average adult, and it's definitely a really good size for any youngsters that are walking around. So for birthday parties and all that, I think it's a great size. But like I said, this is designed so it can be a little bit bigger. I think where you draw the line is each honeycomb should be seamless. That's going to be my official statement. But with the gold, and if you really need to, send me a message. I don't think it should be any bigger, but we can make it bigger and we can still make it seamless. I just don't know if it's worth the effort. So if you really want to, email me, post a comment, let me know. All right, so this is our background. So you can see when you stand next to it to take a picture, it is sizable. All right, so here's our piece. So we're gonna keep this here. Everything else that I'm gonna show you from here, we are going to tape down on top of this. Now, the other thing that I like about centerpieces is I like being able to add depth and dimension. So while you could just lay everything flat on here and tape it, and it will look pretty because people aren't used to seeing these types of displays. So it will look good. It will look better if you give it dimension. And let me show you what I'm talking about. This is for a collaboration that I'm working with that has not been announced yet, but it's a simple cake topper. It's just a rainbow with clouds. But do you see how the clouds have dimension to it? I feel like anytime that you do that, it just makes it more special, more expensive looking, and not just like your average crafter, you know, doing it. So you know, the stars are layered. There's 3 dimensions to it. So when you look at it in person, it's like, wow, that's really cool. And how did you do that? And I bet it took a lot of time, or it cost some money. So anyway, that's what we're gonna do with our honeycomb. So the way you do that, we are under quarantine, right? So I have not been to a store. I don't have any foam tape, so that gives it height. So what I'm using is I have gift wrap tissue paper. So we're going back to like elementary school crafting. We're gonna take the tissue paper, roll it up, hot glue gun it, and that's gonna give us the depth, okay? So give me a second to grab that. I feel like everybody has this. You can use any kind of paper because it won't really be seen. So even newspaper would be okay, although who the heck has newspapers these days? I take that back, maybe advertisements, flyers. So anyway, let's look at this. Now, I would put this down first because these are our solid honeycombs that are going down here to cover the black. I would still layer this, but the first one can be flat on there. This paper, again, like little things that add up. So you could do all gold paper, regular cardstock. You could do glitter cardstock, which is, you know, my thing. I love glitter cardstock. And I did do glitter cardstock for all the labels. This is from my mom. My mom's birthday is actually today. She's 73. So I thought it was just like the perfect launch. But I did gold, but I also wanted to give it like contrast. So this is the metallic paper. I have it, I pulled it aside. I love using Cricut materials. No, I don't get a penny from Cricut. So this is my honest, unbiased opinion. This is poster board metallics. I use the gold. I think I cut it on glitter cardstock because glitter cardstock I use it so much, and I just used it on that and it cut fine. So it gives it a little bit of contrast, but still very similar. And I think, you know, just the different colors, the different textures, it all adds up. So, okay. So this first one, I don't like using glue unless I honestly have to. So this first one, I would just use double-sided tape and tape it down to our black one. And I don't like using glue because no matter the glue, and I've used expensive ones, I've taken different recommendations. The glue tends to warp the paper a little bit, right? Sometimes you don't really notice it, but it tends to make the paper like kind of crinkle up a little bit. Sometimes the hot glue gun, you can see even on this poster board, you can see a little bit coming through. So I really do prefer tape over anything, especially for these centerpieces because they don't get touched, right? So you can, it doesn't need to be so glued down because people aren't touching it, it's not being moved. It's usually hung up on the wall or it's propped up against the wall on the cake table kind of thing. So people are just posing with it, but not necessarily touching and moving and stuff like that. So, okay, so our first one is down. Let's go to the next one. And this one, let's add a little bit of dimension, right? So what you wanna do is you just wanna grab, in this case, I would probably do 4 pieces to make it very stable. So like, you know, top, bottom, left, right kind of thing. So you just want 4 pieces that are kind of equal in size so that when you roll it up, you know it's gonna have about the right size. So we're just rolling up into a little ball. And I am gonna use glue on this. And this texture's okay, so I know this is kind of thick and I'm barely gonna dab the glue on there. And I'm so excited, this is so cool. It's gonna be so big and seamless, and I know I say seamless all the time because I mean, technically with the Cricut, I can make something life size. I can make it my size, but if there's like a big old crease down the face, like that's all my eyes are gonna be drawn to. I will say though, like when I first did off the mat, it was just so impressive, like to me when I first did it, that the seams didn't bother me. But as you do more, and as I see people post pictures like on Facebook and stuff, I'm like, yes, good job, but especially when it's a close call, like if you made it literally 1 inch less, like instead of 48 inches, you did 47 inches and it was seamless, who cares about that extra inch, right? That's kind of where I am. Okay, so let's glue these little things down. Just a little dot on the paper, on our little ball, and then, you know, put it down. And I've done this quite a bit. It travels well, you know, because it's just tissue paper. Okay. So you have your 4 pieces, and then you kind of just want to know where you want to do it. And I don't know if you can even see the light, but just looking at it here, I love it. So, okay, so you're just gonna dab a little bit of glue on each ball. And they don't have to be so even, because it will, as long as you're close, you won't notice. Okay, so you flip it over, put it down. And you want to pick colors that even if it doesn't line up or at an angle, you can see a little bit of the background, that's okay. So that's why I chose black. I did the, you could also do white probably in this case. But it'll just add a little color and you can kind of see the dimensions, but it's not going to be distracting at all. So just one tip, like I wouldn't do red or something like that. All right. So we have one more in the middle, and I would also want to, layer this one as well. So know that it's sitting a little bit, one ledge is sitting on top of one that's already high up. So your other 3 need to be bigger balls, and then this one's going to be the smaller one. So again, that was not a good one. 2, 3, and then a small one for that little one. And I love this B theme because it can be so many different things. It could be, what will it be? So a gender reveal party, and then, you know, BEE. I also saw, oh, happy B-Day, so birthday, but B-Day. And in this case, it just happens to be a B theme. I didn't do a play on the words at all. I just wrote happy birthday in the middle. But I love it because each honeycomb, I was able to add the text and put mom, 73, grandma. She is married to my dad. They've been married forever, but I don't know, something about the word wife. Is it just me? I don't know. Let me know what you think. But I opted to not put wife on there. But then it makes it seem like she's not married. I don't know. Anyway. But I feel like her main thing is, you know, she's my mom. She's the mom to me and my brother, and she's an amazing grandma. And so, I don't know. Maybe that's just me. All right. So, this might be a little bit too small. but it'll be okay. All right, so here we go. We're gonna put down one small one, and again, just a little dab of glue to get it on here. Make sure you don't get your fingers. Okay, and I'm using Lynn Lily's glue gun that she launched late last year, I think it was. I love it. So it comes with this little stand, and again, I don't get paid for this. It comes with a stand. It's cordless when you pull it up. It has a thin tip, and it has a glue catcher. I mean, love it. Okay, so we're just gluing on the other 3 pieces. Just make sure the only thing with this one is when we lay it down that the shortest, the smallest tissue paper is the one that is gonna go on top of. Yeah, that's good. Do you see that? Okay, so just make sure that the little one is the one on here. All right, so let's dab our little glue. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, next thing. So this one's okay. Oh, so I'll show you the back of it. So I used the text, and then what I did was I used a glyph, like a little thing, just to make sure it's connected. And you want to connect it. I did make a little mistake. I thought when I was designing it in Design Space that this A, the top of it, was also connected to the edge. That would have made it way more stable. Let's see how I did the G. The G is touching here, and then a little glyph to add that so it's connected. I would have loved, I mean, when I pulled it off the mat, I was like, oh darn, I thought that A connected, but the A only connected at the end. It's okay, because like I said, it's, you know, it's going to be fine, but it would have been better if it was connected. So on this one, we also want to give it a little bit of height. Let me show you all the ones. So we have Mom up here, so we'll give it a little bit height up here. We have 73 going over here. Now 73, is this the one I made the mistake? Okay, so you can see they're all kind of thin. I broke this E when I pulled it off the mat. So all I did was I glued it back on. You can't even see, okay? The other one where I made the mistake, I thought the Mom connected, but it didn't. So all I did was I pulled it and I taped it from behind. Okay, so that way it's all connected. Okay, so again with this one, what you want to do is the Mom, since it is attached to the flat one, the first honeycomb that we did, we can do a small little balls just to get it to sit on top a little bit. So you're gonna want 4. Oops, not so small. Okay. And you know, I love these scripty fonts, and I feel like a lot of people do because I see it all the time all over Facebook posts, but it's nice to get just one that's a little bit different than Yessie or the watermelon font or I Love Glitter. Especially I Love Glitter because it's so thin. So I do like searching for fonts a little bit just to make yours stand out a little bit more if you're selling. I am an affiliate, Creative Fabrica, so I do like having that because I was a big advocate of Design Space Access because I like having that library and I like having that search capability, but I don't like their fonts. They don't have a lot of scripty, cool fonts. So if you're looking to add, I do like Creative Fabrica a lot. And I also like having a subscription somewhere because I don't like buying a file on Etsy and I don't know, like paying $5 and getting like 300 images, because you need to download and upload each one of those 300 images and then to also locate the one that you wanted. So I really don't like that. So that's why I do like using Access, but I am loving Creative Fabrica a little bit more right now, just because you have if you do the subscription, you have access to way more cooler fonts. That's my only real gripe, because I love having all those images at my fingertips on Design Space without uploading and all that good stuff and labeling and, you know, finding it later. So, all right. And if you do Creative Fabrica, you can get 30% off the subscription if you type in the Useless Crafter 30. So that's always nice too. Okay, so here it is. We have the 4. You know what? We should also do one more. Let's put one on the O. There's a thick part of the O that we can put this, so that it just gives it a little bit more balance. It may turn out that we need a little bit more on the mom. So we'll see, okay? Let's put it on and see if that helps. I think oh, wait a minute. It doesn't have anywhere to go on the O. I mean, against the wall, so I guess it's better than nothing. Just don't put glue on there right now, okay? Just put glue on the outer ones. Right. Okay, so let's put our glue, work kind of fast so it doesn't dry up. And you also don't want it to drip. So when you flip it over kind of where you want it, because you don't want the glue to, you know, drip down onto something else. Okay. Oh my gosh, this is looking good. Okay, so we have that. This one is, it is on a honeycomb already that's lifted, but just slightly lifted. So we're only gonna need a little bit here. So let's do 4 more, but 3 being, just 1 being small and then 3 being much thicker. Oh my God, having issues. Okay, 1, 2, 3, okay, perfect. And the design comes with 1 flower. I added another flower from Design Space. That was part of my access. And it comes with 2 very cute bees. I guess depending on how big or how small you want to do the bees, we designed the bee to be, we could have made it a little bit more simple, but the wings are beautiful. This was a good combination, in my opinion, of having the detail that we wanted, but still being a little bit high maintenance, because you have to glue the stripes on. So, but each bee only has 4 stripes, and they are kind of like considerable size. So it's, you know, I'll show you in a second. All right, so we have our pieces. All right, so let's glue our little pieces on. And just remember, the small one goes on the top, and then your other ones. And then once they're on, you want to put the glue on and then quickly flip it over. So. Oh my gosh, I love it. Okay. We have just two more. So we have this one and that one. So it's the same idea. I'm not going to do that with you. Let's look at this flower. So this one is in layers. You'll see it on Design Space and then you just piece it all together. But it is very, very cute. Everything is with the glue tape. So I just did the strips, but this last piece, because it's glitter on glitter, we're gonna glue it down. So just wanna make sure you get it. And this too has a lot of layers. So I cut it in 4, so it's really like thick and gives it dimension. I really like it that way. So you can decide where you want to put that. The only thing left I want to do the birthday. So with any script like this one, you need to have an offset, and I'll show you that in Design Space. When you buy the class, obviously you already did, but this helps you see it and then you can kind of layer it. So with this script, this is on the outline, the offset is just white cardstock, and it's thick one. It's the 110-pound one. So what I would do is I would just use the tape runner, the glue tape, and get this to stick on, and then, oh my, excuse me. And then on this one, I would put the rolled up tissue paper so that it pops up, okay? But on this one, just straight on. So let's do that. I have scrap paper right here. And because it's going on white, you're not gonna see the excess glue, but I still think it's good practice, like I always do. So when you lift this up, just kind of get rid of, I call them cobwebs, but you'll see there's like remnants of the tape. You just wanna make sure it's not, you kind of like pop them so it's not coming through. I'm like running out of space here. Can you still see? Okay. So pretty. I love this. Okay, same thing with this little guy. I think I might have to, I'm just gonna put a little bit of glue on there. So I don't think I can do it. So here's birthday, and it's gonna sit on top of here, also at a higher level. So there's that, there's this flower, there's also this leaf, which I love. Now, we designed it with a background, so if you wanted like a lighter green background or whatever, you could do that. I'm opting to go with just a single layer like this because it's gonna sit against the gold, so the gold will come through. So that's the only difference. And then I'm gonna show you, oh, these are little honey nuggets. So you can place those anywhere that you want to. And then I'm just gonna show you this, and then I'll show you the outline. I'll walk you through the outline because we've done it before. And also, because we're under quarantine, I'm actually running out of these boards and I don't want to go to Dollar Tree to purchase them. So I don't know if I'm actually going to cut this board or not. But the way we designed it is so that this middle section right here that's covered in the 3 honeycombs, it will have a sturdy cardboard like I do with all my cutouts from the Dollar Tree, so a foam board to hold it up. What I would do is I would cut these open honeycombs. I would cut it with poster board, and let me show you what that looks like. It's a big poster board the same size as the foam board, also from the Dollar Tree. It's $1. You can cut this on your Cricut. There's a poster board one. I would also maybe even cut it on glitter cardstock, but twice, and that will give you stability for your honeycombs. But again, this is going to be up against the wall, so it will be firm. It's very similar to, if you want to see how I did it, the Twinkle Twinkle Little Star baby shower off the mat that I did. It's on my channel. That was very delicate, and with this poster board, it was amazing. So that's what I would do. So let's glue this little guy. So with this bee, I think you could easily, because it's glitter on glitter, and look at the details. Those wings, Allie was amazing in designing this. I would just glue the middle part down. It doesn't, and it can even stand up a little bit. I think that would be good. So I would probably, well, I'll do it right now. I would do it on the yellow, kind of thick little glue globs. Oh no, I need to put a stick of glue in. Okay, that's not gonna work. And I wouldn't even press it down. I would let it dry with some, with a gap, just to give it more dimension. And I have glue sticks. And I'm gonna, oh my gosh, I'm like struggling right now. Okay, I'm gonna lift this open a little bit more again, and I'm gonna do the bottom part of the body just to give it more depth. Come on, I need both hands. This glue stick won't go through. Oh, there it is, okay. So don't press it down, just let it flutter. Even, like, do you see the wings can like even move? I love that idea. Okay, so we'll have that. And then I would glue on the little pieces, these little pieces. Delivery. So you can kind of see it's starting to come together. All right, so I think that's it. I'm gonna let you go now that you know how to piece it together. You can do different ones. You can, the way we did it too, and on Design Space, is you can add more honeycombs if you wanted to. We really gave you the starter kit to make this at least 33 inches. The rest is totally up to you and how much more. So like if you wanted to keep it seamless, you could just keep adding the same size honeycombs bigger, and then that way it'll be seamless. All right, thanks guys.